Like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I continue to provide you with trusted information for you to make decisions. I want to look at an issue today that is from a research perspective. And why I want to look at that? Because I believe this issue is critical to people's behavior and how a number of things that are happening in Jamaica today could be explained by this issue. What I want to look at is alcohol consumption among Jamaicans during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this research was conducted in 2021. So a number of things that are happening today in terms of the murders, the other social deviant behaviors, including domestic violence, rape, and the killing of even children and women have something to do with this phenomenon. So I want to look at it today, and I'm presenting to you a research that I did for you to understand clearly what is happening. Now, alcohol consumption is a negative, long-standing behavior that affects people's psychological health. And you may not necessarily want to agree with what it is that I'm forwarding, but research has actually shown that this phenomenon, this alcohol consumption, is a serious matter in relationship to young adults and mature persons consuming quite a lot of these beverages, and many times they having to do with the matter relating to stress. Research has been done in Australia, Austria, Brazil, France, New Zealand, that has looked at this phenomenon and found out that in 2020, alcohol consumption increased by 36%. Of course, that was during COVID, right? So we are saying that people deal with stress a particular way, and what they do is to consume alcohol as one way of dissolving their stress. But is it? Well, there are many arguments to that matter. Then another study was done in 2021, still the COVID period again, and this study was done among young persons, those who are 18 to 25, and found that 25% of them more were consuming what? Substances. So we are saying, even among the young people, we saw a rise in what? Substance abuse and alcohol consumption. They are unable to deal with these stressors. Now, Hodge 2021 argued that Jamaicans between 15 to 34 were ranked among the population overall prevalence relating to depression. So during 2021, we saw a research done in Jamaica that say that depression was on the rise among young people. How are they going to deal with this depression? How are they going to deal with this stress? So, with the research that's actually looking at this issue relating to what? Alcohol consumption. And we are looking from the perspective of what a theoretical framework that anchors it from expectation and issues. So, to look at people's expectation, to look at the outcomes of these expectations, and why it is that they are likely to what? Consume alcohol because their expectations are not met. Now, research has been done to establish that this matter of alcohol consumption is a new phenomenon. United Nations has actually looked at it. Wilson and Harrison 2020 has actually looked at this matter relating to alcohol consumption, and they have found a whole lot. And we have also seen from other work during 2020, that is, to say, listen, alcohol consumption has really increased. A matter of fact, we saw a study that was done in March 21, 2020, that say that alcohol consumption increased by 262%. 262%, ladies and gentlemen. Alcohol consumption increased in 2020. So this study was done between May of 2020 2021, and June of that same year. This was a national study, it was a web-based study where 16 items, 16 questions were actually given to Jamaicans, male and females, over the years of 20 years. The data was actually put in SPSS, a 2.2 significant value test was actually used to look at this phenomenon. So 500 Jamaicans were interviewed, 41%, 51% of males and 49% of females, which is in keeping with the ratio of Jamaicans. All right. And of course, we said that they were done across the 14 parishes of Jamaica. So let's dive into some findings now to see what was actually happening with our Jamaicans during this time, or persons who are older 18. What drives you to consume alcohol? 15.7% of them indicated isolation from family. 28.2% financial instability. Worrying about being infected by virus, 15%. And there are some persons who those issues were not an issue. So what we're saying is that more Jamaicans were consuming alcohol as a result of challenges that they were experiencing, either in terms of separation from the family, unable to deal with money, and even their own sexual behavior. What we also see, issues faced during the pandemic, most persons were experiencing depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. So people were consuming alcohol to deal with their problems. We asked the persons, have you ever consumed alcohol or alcoholic beverages before? 92% of these individuals said yes. At what age did they start consuming alcohol? Many of them started consuming alcohol at a young age, 68% of them. We asked the question, did COVID-19 started your drinking of alcohol? And 45% of individuals claim yes. We asked questions. Has your alcohol consumption changed during COVID-19? 42% of these Jamaicans said that it increased during what? COVID-19. Is alcohol used to deal with your stressors, to deal with your coping mechanism? And almost 50% of them cleared yes. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some real startling findings. Does your drinking behavior affect your ability to sleep? 40% of them said yes. People's health were relatively okay. Do you believe that alcohol consumption can affect your health? And 44.2% of them strongly agree. 1.4% of them agree, which means that these persons who are consuming alcohol are fully aware that it is going to be affecting their health, but just to cope, just to deal with the problems of the isolation, the inability to actually be able to cope with what was going on, being unable to actually find resources to deal with their issues, they were consuming alcohol. So of course, the question was asked where we did what is called a cross tabulation to look at during the last year, have you had any emotional distress and consumed alcohol? 94.3% of those who indicate that they were having emotional problems were consuming alcohol. Ladies and gentlemen, these findings are depressing. Let's look at the matter now in terms of some of the challenges that people were having, those in terms of depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, or even other issues, and consuming alcohol. 92% of those persons who indicate that they were depressed were consuming alcohol. Those who were anxious, 96%. Those who had suicidal thoughts, all of them were what? Consuming alcohol. Coping mechanism. Alcohol was used by individuals in Jamaica just to cope. Now tell me clearly, ladies and gentlemen, if that was transpired in 2021, Prices have been increasing. A number of persons have lost their job. They were not going to be introducing AI. It means that the current reality is a stressful one for many persons, particularly young persons. And all they are trying to do is to cope. Alcohol is now taken as the source or the means of coping with their current reality. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pause for a few seconds and have you think about what has been going on so far. And my question is, do you understand why we're having all these murders? Multiple murders, killing of ladies, children, a rise in domestic violence, a rise in carnal abuse and rape. People are trying to cope. Who cares about the persons who are in Jamaica? Who care about their challenges? Who cares about the challenge of a number of Jamaicans? Who really care about what people are actually experiencing? Who care about the fundamental stressors of just being a person living post COVID-19? In order to cope with the new norm, the new realities, joblessness, financial insecurities, not knowing what to do, the isolation, the frustration of being at home because of job displacement, people are consuming alcohol. Then the question I'm going to ask you, what about those who are going through all of those stressors and are not consuming alcohol? What are they doing? Ladies and gentlemen, like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I continue to provide you trusted information for you to use to make a decision. It is a lot that Jamaicans are going through. And just to cope, they are consuming their lives away and their health away because they want to cope.